All right. Welcome to the Scorched Earth Sports Podcast. I'm your host, JT. We have the other site. We're kind of transferring over. This might be my last podcast on this for Off the Rails. We're going to do another one with Scott. He was just spectacular the other day, and I highly encourage, we're going to leave a link in the bio. I'm not really technically proficient with that, but I got to say, it was some really good sports talk. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I know I'm biased, but boy, you want to talk about hockey, you want to talk about NASCAR, that guy is just dialed in. He is dialed in. Today, we're going to talk about the NCAA tournament, maybe a little hockey. We'll see where we go. But I'm going to recap what happened Tuesday night in the world of sports. And let's start it out with Tiger Woods. If you could, first of all, hit the like and subscribe button. It means a lot. Tiger Woods ruptured an Achilles, had surgery, West Palm Beach, Florida. It's a shame. I actually had him at, I believe, 150-1 to win the Masters this year. That obviously isn't going to happen. I'm going to have to find out if I can get a refund if he doesn't tee it up. But, I never liked Tiger Woods when he was just mowing down everybody. I was always the Phil fan. I always thought Phil was the closest guy in our lifetime to Arnold Palmer. It was just a go for it. I mean, it crushed me when he lost that U.S. Open. I believe it was at Shinnecock. Par wins, bogey playoff. Oh, my gosh. Hits it over the green, hits it in the tent. Just you wanted to throw up. And that's when he had the classic line, "Daddy is such a dummy." He's telling that to his daughter. Broke my heart. And then we kind of get to the point where we hear about Billy Walters and we hear about his gambling relationship with Phil Mickelson and how he speculated he lost over $100 million. And, the allegations that he wanted to bet on the Ryder Cup. He didn't do anything with that. Billy Walters, that is. We don't know what Phil did behind the scenes. And then we had the quote with Alan Shipnuck, the great golf writer, where he said, when he was talking about going to live and he was taking all this money, the speculated $200 million. And he said, yeah, I know the Saudis are scary as F and, killed Khashoggi and all that, but, it's the money thing basically is what to paraphrase, that's basically what he did, took the money, gave up the morals. And then it came out later that Liv offered Tiger something like $800 million to $1 billion to jump ship and be the figurehead for their tour, and he turned them down. And I really got a different perspective of their souls. I am pro PGA. I hate Liv. It is trash. It is garbage. Anything that is fronted by Greg Norman is total unadulterated crap. He was a terrible choker. He won a couple British Opens. That's great. That dude is the biggest choker since Linda Lovelace. You can Google it, who the hell that is. This dude is immoral. He's always hated the PGA Tour, even though it gave him his fame, money, notoriety. I'm glad Chris Everett left him. I can't stand that son of a bitch. And now they moved him out of Liv because he was so terrible at what he does. And Phil, I can't stand him anymore. He doesn't represent anything I believe in or want to believe in. He's just about the money. And as far as I'm concerned, he got that 6th major at the PGA a couple years ago in South Carolina. All right, you do what you want. But I really gained a lot of respect for Tiger. I always thought he was standoffish. I thought, he was kind of aloof, kind of elite, kind of condescending. They try to act fake humility. Obviously, Phil did too, and I bought it. But I ain't buying anymore. And, Tiger basically came to the rescue and saved the PGA Tour. If he would have went to live, we'd be living in an entirely different ecosystem. And, I think the leadership in the PGA Tour is terrible. I think they literally put Rory McIlroy, who was a great golfer and an advocate for professional golf in America, and they basically did the Colin Powell with him. They put him out there. They pimped him out. He was the spokesperson, and then they cut his legs out from underneath him when they cut a secret deal with LIV. That's exactly what happened. And I will always, I don't care what happens, I will always applaud Rory McIlroy for not burning the house down. They betrayed him. They pulled the Judas on him, straight up. That's exactly what they did. And, at the end of the day, they all want to make more money, right? The Patrick Cantlays, that guy, I'm glad he's on the tour, but, I'm sure they put a big number in front of him, right? I think Brooks Koepka regretted it. But like I said, I'm getting a little too far down the rabbit hole on LIV, but I'll always applaud and I'll always admire Tiger for standing up for the PGA Tour, because this world would be different. This golf world would be totally different if he had jumped ship. And I'm sorry he had a torn Achilles. His body is breaking down. The guy had as much talent as any man who's ever walked this earth when it comes to hitting a golf ball. He dedicated himself to that life. He's made a lot of mistakes, and he's paid for them, and everybody deserves, I guess, a second chance. I don't know. And he made the most of it. And I still do believe deeply in my heart that he's got another major in him. I really do. And if Phil Mickelson can win a major at 50, so can Tiger. I just don't know if the body's going to accommodate him. And I really think his major is going to come at Augusta. That is a place he can pull a Jack Nicklaus in 1986 and turn the magic on the back nine. Don't know if it'll happen, but I just have an eerie feeling it's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you, as a bettor out there in January and February, when you can get Tiger Woods at 100, 150 to 1, you put a 20 spot on that thing. I'm telling you right now, and I know it's the chump bet. I know it is, but he is going to win one of the next 5 Masters. I don't know which one, but he is going to win. All right, let's go to some NFL news. Joey Bosa, cut by the Chargers, goes to Buffalo, 1-year deal. It's a nice signing, especially with Oliver there on their defensive line. That's going to be they've got to do something to catch up with Baltimore. They got to do something to catch up with Kansas City. I know they beat Baltimore. I know. I can hear you. I can hear you out there. Jesus, your voice carries. I just still don't think they're as good as Baltimore. The Ravens added Hopkins, the receiver. It is amazing how far that guy has fallen. A year ago, Buffalo basically had to pay his salary, took the big cap hit to just ship him over to Houston for a draft pick. Now it looks like they might have got the better end of the deal. We shall see. I think it's pretty obvious. Leonard Floyd leaves the 49ers, goes to Atlanta. I'll tell you what, I just don't know what's going on with the 49ers. It just seems like they are a dumpster fire. We're going to see what happens with Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey. We're going to see if he comes back. I don't know what they're going to do for wide receiver. They traded Deebo Samuel, Brendan Ayuk. I don't know if they're going to trade him. There is a lot of uncertainty, and I think John Lynch is going to get fired very soon. It's just not working out. I got a feeling they're going to move on from Lynch. They're going to move on from Kyle Shanahan. I think Kyle Shanahan's a good coach. I think he's a really good coach. Actually, it's just not working there. And I want to say, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I want to say it's going to be like Andy Reid in Philadelphia. He was a good coach there. There's just a point where you can't go any further. And I think that's where Kyle Shanahan, he's had 2 leads in the fourth quarter in the Super Bowl and hasn't got the job done. I'm not putting it on him. I mean, they talk about a Jimmy Garoppolo incomplete pass, overthrow, whatever. Sometimes it's just not your period. Like Philadelphia under Andy Reid. Get rid of Andy Reid and they find their way back. They get 2 Super Bowls within, 10 years with different coaches. All right, the NBA, the Cavaliers won their 15th straight game in a row for the second time this year. That is just a dynamite club. I still do not believe they are as good as Boston, but boy, they're going to be the number 1 seed. You're going to have to win in Game 7, Game 5, and they're at home somewhere. Halliburton last night for the Indiana Pacers had an impossible 4-point play with 3.2 seconds left to lift them by 1 point over the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't believe in the Bucks either. I don't even believe, honestly, in the East, it's the Cavaliers and the Celtics. It's not like the West where I think you have 4 teams that can win. The NCAA, Gonzaga won the WCC tournament, 20th time under Mark Few. They're ready to roll. MLB, we find out Vlad Guerrero Jr. is seeking a contract in the $500 million range. I'm going to do a podcast on Thursday with Brother Brian where we mostly are going to focus on baseball. He's great at baseball. He was telling me, he said he didn't think Vlad was going to get over 350. And I said, you're crazy. He's going to get $500-600 million. He might be right. We shall see. If you can, please hit the like and subscribe button. It means a lot. We are going to move over to Off the Rails Sports Podcast. Look for us on YouTube, and I will see you soon.